we're back. Dr. Jacques Speech of Soho MD here at the Bullpen at the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. I'm here with Dr. Ray Rao from Anchor. Great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so can you tell us your story, your journey that got you here?
Yeah. So I'm an oncologist who loves coding. And up until 4 months ago, I was running a pretty successful international research program, about $350 million in portfolio, bringing new drugs to market. And I realized there was a burning problem we needed to solve, so we jumped in and jumped in full time to Anchor. Yeah.
Wow. And so you're running the practice, and then you've shifted fully to Anchor.
Yeah. It was one of the hardest decisions of my life to kind of stop seeing patients and get out of clinical medicine, but I think it's the right thing to do for the long term.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then with Anchor, can you tell us about the company?
Yeah. So originally, Anchor started with the idea of predicting side effects for cancer patients, and that's patient navigation, right? Essentially, and we were massively successful. In just a year, we became the #1 patient navigation platform for oncology. And as we grew, we realized our customers, all of the patient interactions that we were facilitating, whether it was somebody who had a fever because of chemo and they were calling in at 10 p.m., all those doctors were telling us, hey, this is great that you're keeping patients out of the ER, but can you do something for us? Because this is really burning us out, because it's extra work for me. And we said, let's get you paid for it, right? And once that moment, the aha moment happened, like once we figured out that getting doctors paid for this extra work is actually something tangible, we started asking ourselves the question of, hey, is this a bigger problem? And you're a psychiatrist, right?
Yep.
And so you have a busy clinic day, you come out, you still have 20 messages lined up. Can you get paid for them between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m.? So we stood up what's a virtual clinic as a service platform.
Nice.
And it allows your brick and mortar presence to get extended into the after hours without needing any infrastructure except Anchor.
That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
So not only are you improving quality of care in terms of getting the clinical services that are needed done, but you're also improving the financial operations for the organization.
100%. Like we, just high level numbers, we activate about $100,000 per doctor per year in new revenue.
Wow.
And extremely high margin revenue. We also cut down as a patient, if you're calling your doctor, you're probably waiting a day or 2 days before you hear back. And these are people who have biopsy results, who have bad CT scans, and they would want to know the answers now, right? And so because we incentivize the physicians, to respond and turn down barriers, those patients get the answers now, today. And they get care faster by not just hours, by weeks. Because, the thing they would have waited for next week, that discussion now happens now, and the referral happens tonight instead of 2 days from now.
Especially for patients who are suffering in the middle of their medical issues, to have that kind of support must go a long way.
Absolutely. The other consequence of this is, our primary customers are basically the independent practices that are big enough to use our scale, but not big enough to fight the gorilla in the metro market, the large health systems and so on. And so we help them remain financially viable, which is more options for the patients ultimately and the community ultimately.
That's amazing. And have you seen both patients and providers readily adopting the platform?
So as a patient, think about what happens if a patient's on Anchor. They called into their clinic because they're sick, or they sent a message in, and then a few minutes later, our system calls them, consents them, and then the next thing they know, they're talking to the doctor they see on a monthly basis, right?
Wow.
So it's extremely frictionless, and all of that happens. Like Stanford and UCSF are now charging $25 for a message that patients send into the clinic. This is cheaper than that.
Wow.
From a patient's perspective, and talking to a real human being when you're sick, instead of sending a message in, that's huge.
That is really huge. Yeah. And so with everything going on, what are you working on now? What excites you about 2024?
Yeah, so 2024 is like the year where in healthcare we have two massive movements intersecting, which is the generative AI, which is coming of age finally now, and telehealth, which is maturing. So telehealth 1.0, I'm sure you know, is really dumb, right? It's basically a Zoom meeting. And we could do so much better. We can help better decision making. We can surface the right information for the doctor. We can transcribe all the instructions to the patient in real time. Like, we can do so much with the capabilities from generative AI and telehealth 2.0. So that's our, like, we're envisioning that future and we're building towards it. We've been fortunate. OpenAI gave us a bunch of money and gave us all the resources about 3 years ago. So we're one of the first companies in healthcare to ever get support from OpenAI. So we have 3 years of lead time, right? And our models are just doing incredible things in the background. And we're super excited for that Gen AI cross telehealth 2.0.
That's amazing. You're really at the forefront here. And in terms of the bullpen community, what's your ask?
Yeah, so really the first thing is, it's great, I wasn't aware of this community, but the fact that I've found out, so it's more about, the thing that resonated with me is more about giving. So as an educator, as somebody who's been in drug development, discovery for the last decade of my life, oncology being one of the hottest healthcare innovation hotspots, and if I can contribute to the community, if I can help the founders who are bringing new devices, new drugs to market in oncology, like that would make me really happy. So that is something that I want to offer first. And then in terms of asks, really, like, if you know a doctor, just tell them about us, right? Get us in front of them. We'll explain the value prop. We've had conversations where within 15 minutes, like, you're a doctor, you get the value proposition, right?
Absolutely, it's very clear cut.
Yeah, so if you can, like, my hands, my hair is standing on. That's how cool all this stuff is. But really, if that is the introductions that we can make, and that'd be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Dr. Ray Rao of Anchor, if you want more information, you can go to bullpen.ventures, and his link and information will be there. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.